Hi, I'm your host Vasco Duarte. Welcome to the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast, where we share tips and tricks from Scrum Masters around the world. Every day, we bring you inspiring answers to important questions that all Scrum Masters face day after day. Hello, everybody. Welcome to our Product Owner and TGIF episode this week with Kulsoom Pervez. Hey, Kulsoom, welcome back.
Hey, Vasco, thank you. And I can't believe it's Friday already.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun,
Yeah.
doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
And hopefully all of you out there are having fun, at least part of the time, if not all of the time. We'll talk about product owners because, of course, product owner is a key partnership for us as Scrum Masters. When Scrum Masters and product owners work well together, typically the team works well. When they don't work well, the team for sure doesn't work well either. So let's focus on that role, and we'll talk about what great product owners do in a minute. But first, share with us, what is the worst, potentially, the worst anti-pattern in the product owner role that you've witnessed?
Yeah, and I've witnessed it quite at times. I think it's a very common anti-pattern because that's what my other fellow Scrum Masters have also told me. So the anti-pattern of product owner trying to micromanage the team and trying to do activities which should be left to the team and rather focusing on the actual PO activities, which are making sure that the vision and roadmap, they are updated, talking to the customers, and all those things. So just to make it clear, the anti-pattern which I'm talking about is that the PO interfering into how the team sizes their efforts, doing some sort of capacity planning for the team, pushing work to them rather than giving team an opportunity to decide how much they can take it, and also basically just keeping them busy. Going into this notion of I have to keep the team busy, so give them whatever work. Rather than making sure that the work which they are asking the team to do, that is actually the highest priority work, which will deliver value. This is one very common anti-pattern that I have witnessed.
And of course, one of the key things for us as Scrum Masters is how to work with these product owners. And I don't know if you have a story to share with us, but if you have some advice, some tips to share about how to work with product owners that might be stuck in this anti-pattern, what would those be?
Yeah. So again, my how I approach the situation is that I try to approach it in a non-judgmental way. I again try to have conversation with the product owners, and I try to understand that what is making them behave like this, or do they understand the PO role? Do they understand what is actually required, the skill which are needed to perform the actual PO role rather than whatever they are doing right now? And also very important, do they have the environment to perform that role? Like, maybe they have some pressure going on, which is making them perform in this way. Or some POs I have seen, they complain that, we are seeing high number of defects or bugs. So they lose the trust in the team, and that again influences their actions. So again, it's a case-to-case situation. We don't have a magic bullet for it, but the thing is, just have these conversations with the team, with the PO, and try to partner with them.
The partnership is, of course, very important. And I was just reminded when you said maybe they've lost trust in the team, that sometimes POs take this kind of anti-pattern, even knowing they shouldn't, but because they don't trust the team anymore. And it's very important for us to be able to observe and assess what is the level of trust between PO and team. In your own work, when you're working with POs that maybe are in this anti-pattern, how do you assess the trust between the PO and the team?
So again, maybe say in refinements or wherever the team is when sizing the stories, if the PO is questioning them, why are you sizing it that way? That's a very common thing. If a PO is complaining when I'm having these Scrum Master conversations with the PO, if I hear just complaints from the PO and no positive things, then again I understand that there is lack of trust. Again, when we are having our conversations with the team, we can gauge this. One important thing that I've seen is a lot of time I've seen that some Scrum Master they exclude the POs from the retros, which again it's up to them. But for me, I don't adhere to this approach. I feel that the PO is a part of the team, and when we're having the retros, we should have the entire team along with the PO because that again goes a long way in building the trust. The PO and team communication is very, very important. And we cannot just focus on the team and hope that we'll have a successful team.
Yeah. And it is so critical for us to do the things that build that trust, right? And
Yes,
as you said,
yeah.
that sometimes POs are not in the retros. Like that would be the perfect place to start building
Yeah,
that trust, so
exactly.
that both
Yeah.
sides see what they are struggling with and they can help each other.
Yeah, because most of the times I have seen that these POs, when you have these conversations, they become vulnerable. They share their own challenges. It's a very difficult role, right? So we have to be supportive to them as well.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's why I always talk about the Coach Your Product Owner course here on
Yes.
the podcast, because that is the key aspect of Scrum Master. Sometimes the POs have all of the skills and they need support with maybe the team or
Yeah.
stakeholder management. Sometimes they don't have the skills and they need to support building those skills to be able to help
Right.
the team.
Yeah, very true.
So that's the anti-pattern, of course, but there are also great product owners out there. So Kulsoom, share with us potentially the best product owner you've ever worked with. How did they work?
Oh, wow. Okay. Talking about some positive things. So, one of the best POs that I have worked with was the one who always had the pulse on customer sentiments. So, she always made sure to stay close to the customers. She worked very closely with sales, marketing, customer success team, always knew what was going on in the market, what is the actual need, rather than just making the team work on something which is actually not needed by the customers. A lot of time that also happens. And and she also brought these insights to the team very often. So the people who were actually building the product, they also knew that okay, what's going on in the market, and she made sure to communicate the vision and roadmap at all times, because a lot of times I've seen the product owners, unfortunately, they cannot articulate the vision or give a roadmap. But she had it at all times, and she took suggestions and feedback from the team as well. Like, hey, what do you think? How can we make this product better? So, the developers were not only like order takers; they were people who could give inputs. And what I liked is she was very good at saying no. So ruthlessly prioritizing to make sure that uh, team is working on an item which is actually ready, and it indeed delivers high value. So in fact, now when I coach the POs, I always tell them that the best thing you can do as a product owner is saying no, because you'll always have this pressure coming from all directions, right? So brace up. You have got the challenge, but you have to say no. No is a very powerful word. And apart from all that, Vasco, she was able to build great relationship with the team, just like what we talked earlier. She displayed trust in their abilities. She openly said, "I trust the team. Okay, I don't care about the sizing and all those kind of nitty gritties. Here is what I need, and I know you guys will deliver it." And the team felt motivated, and whatever support was needed from the PO, she provided. So I
Yeah.
could see great partnership.
And it sounds to me, as you described this product owner, that she had the skills, of course, that was clear from your
Mhm.
description, but she had kind of invested herself in the success of the team.
Yes.
And I think that this is something that, I mean, it's obvious when you hear it and when you see it, but it's not so obvious before, which is how do we build this investment, right? Because at the end of the day, the
Mhm.
product owner, and the same with us, the product owner doesn't develop the product.
Yeah,
They
right.
they are a helper for the team, right? Because at the end of the day,
Absolutely.
the team is the one that needs to deliver, that needs to get things out and and interpret things correctly from the customer perspective, et cetera, et cetera. So this is, I think, for me, the key takeaway from this story is that what are the signs, like look for the signs that tell us that the product owner is invested in the success of the team.
Yeah. And you want an answer to that, right? Just making sure.
No need. Like, I was just reflecting on what you shared and kind of trying to understand, like, what's the overarching pattern, right? Because it is a person, right? And you made it clear that it was a person. It's not just a random collection of good techniques or approaches, but it is one person that brought all of this together.
Yeah. And one more thing I want to tell about her, that she was very open-minded. That is a key, because I've also worked with some POs with whom I was not able to build that relationship because of lack of open-mindedness. So this PO was very open-minded. She was invested in building that relationship with me as well. And that's why we were able to have such a great partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. And a great partnership, when you hear those words, when it comes to a PO and a Scrum Master, that's always a good sign.
Yeah, recipe for success, probably.
Absolutely. Kulsoom, thank you very much for sharing all of those stories with us. We're getting close to the end of the week with you, but before you go, where can people find out more about you and the work that you're doing?
People can find me on LinkedIn. I try to be active on LinkedIn. So yeah, please feel free to send me requests or have conversations. Always excited to have these kind of conversations. I love this community. So.
Absolutely. And why not? Everybody feel free to contact Kulsoom on LinkedIn and send a few follow-up questions. Why not? Kulsoom, it's been a pleasure. Thank you very much for your generosity with your time and your knowledge.
Thank you so much, Vasco. As I said earlier, also, I owe a lot to you, whatever I am. I think a great part of that is thanks to this podcast. So it is a full circle for me coming on this podcast and having this conversation with you.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure to have had you here as a guest too.
Thank you, Vasco.
One more week of the Scrum Master Toolbox podcast is over, but there's a lot more we have to share. We have developed our own membership site where you find a community of active and engaged Scrum Masters. In this site, you get access to exclusive content and get to interact with us, your podcast hosts, as well as the best Scrum Masters in the world. So join us at scrummasterpodcast.com and keep this podcast free of advertising. See you next week for one more full week of Scrum Master tips and tricks. We really hope you liked our show. And if you did, why not rate this podcast on Stitcher or iTunes? Share this podcast and let other Scrum Masters know about this valuable resource for their work. Remember that sharing is caring.